Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boys Dressing Room podcast. It's actually been a while since our last episode. Welcome to episode 3. I, of course, am joined by my best friend and co-host, Aiden McCoy.
Yo.
And this episode is actually just going to be us. No special guest or nothing.
We don't need anyone else. It's just us.
Just us.
It's Aiden and Benji against the world.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Go on. I'm listening. So, a lot's kind of taken place. Nothing like too crazy, but it's just been a bit since our last episode, and it's good to kind of be back after a short little break with school and such.
School and other activities.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of a British accent, what did we do today, Aiden?
We had our first in-person rehearsal for Matilda, which was very chaotic, but it went swimmingly, if you will.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, it's definitely so much better being in that environment than just at your house on a Zoom call.
On the Zoom call, because now we're actually seeing how certain numbers will look on stage instead of kind of having a rough understanding of it, because there's only so much you can do on Zoom, and there's only so much Dixon can do teaching us on Zoom.
Absolutely,
so yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
We had to rehearse in a parking lot for the extra space, and it was very, very chaotic because Dixon just had to yell the entire time. But for our first rehearsal, I think it went pretty good, quite good.
Yeah, it's very strange being like, yeah, we all like technically like we were all there on the Zoom calls and like those were our first rehearsals, but this really felt like, these people here are involved in the show that we're producing, and like there's a product that it's working towards, not just like, yeah, we're in a call together just kind of talking, if that makes any sense. Yeah,
it felt like more of a solidified cast, like all together, since we were in person, which was really cool. And it was just so cool that we got to like start blocking like our own parts of the show to where we were doing the first number of the show, Miracle, and Benji and I both played parents in that number, and so we each have our own little families, and we each got to like choreograph.
Little family. I have like 6 kids or something like that.
You have like 7. You have a family, all right. I have my 2 children, Gabe and Savannah. So we each got to like choreograph our own kind of like scene. So it's just chaos on stage with 4 different families doing.
What did your family decide on doing?
So my family is very much the kind of family that's like, oh, they're like the picture perfect family, but in reality it's not that great, you know?
They barely have it tied together.
Oh, absolutely. So in the first part of it, like when the parents first come in, I'm like scolding Savannah for putting honey on her brother, and I'm taking pictures and such. And we even get to do like the little family portrait where it's like people standing in a line with like their arms on each other's hips, that kind of thing. Very cute. And then in the second part, or like towards the end of Miracle Part 1, before we go off stage, there's like the 2 overlapping choruses, and so my wife and I, which is going to be Kendall when I'm in my parent week, we're fighting over the camera while Savannah and Gabe have just like lost their minds. But as soon as we do like the park and bark part,
yeah,
we just all turn to the audience and act like nothing happened, and we're like smiling, and we completely forgot anything that just transpired.
Just playing
before.
It off.
Yeah, it's definitely rough right now, but I think it's really funny.
Yeah,
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
It's definitely, I like what you were saying, where it's coming to shape a lot more, and you can visually see. Obviously it's a little difficult with, being 6 feet apart, to where we have to have those safety guidelines and things like that to keep us protected and safe and all that while wearing masks. But it's also might as well be
10 feet apart. We were 2 parking spaces away from each other in that parking lot.
For sure. I was on stage right, but because of that, where she has center stage is at least a good 30, 40 feet away from where I was standing.
Yeah.
So it's like, luckily I didn't need much direction for the parts that I was in. But if I did, that would have been so hard and so painful to listen while there's cars driving past, planes flying overhead. And Aiden, all the cars that were just driving through.
Oh my God. Oh, we almost got ran over today. Like, there was this, oh my God. So there was this kid, and so we're like, the parking lot's pretty big, and we were on, like, we took up kind of most of it. Yeah. But there was still plenty of spaces before it got to, like, the people. So there was a car that drove by, and he passed by plenty of empty spaces, but he decided to go to the very end, as if he had, like, a reserved parking space or something like that.
We were interfering with his day.
Yeah, so, like, we were slowly starting to, like, move over because he was just so just determined to get this parking spot. And he sped past, like, kind of, like, he turned a bit so he wouldn't hit us, sped past us, and, like, it was insane. Like, he was going 30 in a parking lot and was very close to us.
There was just so many unnecessary things that just he did. It was like, all right, you could have turned, didn't turn. All right, you could have slowed down at the very least.
Yeah, you could have waited an extra 10 seconds for us to move, because it's a cast of 35 while trying to social distance, so it's going to take us a second to move as a unit. So yeah,
my role was essentially, just because I wasn't involved in too much, just looking at if a car was coming and just yelling. And it was literally like when you were talking about last year when, like, the 8th graders came and you're like, scatter!
Scatter!
It was literally that, except you had to part the C's so that no one got ran over by this person in, like, a Dodge.
It was a nice car, and it's always the people in the super nice cars.
Because they couldn't be bothered to check if, I don't know, anyone was in front of them.
Yeah. They're too good for human life.
Every life I bring
it. Yeah. How far did we get today? We choreographed, like, Miracle 1 and 2, and then we're on 3
we started.
Right now. We started 3.
3 is probably, like, I don't know. The more I think about it, it's just the transition for Miracle is kind of gonna kick my butt. Like,
yeah, I have to take the table off a couple times with my family, and like, those are gonna be huge tables for people, to fit under. So I am just dreading having to take that off.
Again, I'm really confused as to why my family
doesn't take it off.
At least one of the tables, because it's like, all right, if there's, so it's like me and then whoever my wife is, either Zoe or Emmy, right? So there's the 2 of us. I mean, like, maybe not me taking it off, because it's like maybe I might be doing something, but, like, so it's like the 2 of us plus Ben Carroll, Owen, Livy, Claire, and Riley Falkoff.
So it's like 7 of you.
Yeah. So there's the 7 of us, which make up half of the entire parents and kids just by our one family. So I'm like, I feel like we should at least be responsible for one of them.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like, if you, like, split up even, like, two of your kids could help my family, and then the rest of you guys can take off
and
one
I'm
table.
sure if it gets pretty hectic, that's something that, we'll consider. But it just seemed like, I don't know, we kind of have quite a bit of people over here.
You have an army.
Mm-hmm. Who will storm this birthday party?
I'm just excited for, like, the sets to start coming to, like, together, and, like, for all the costumes and stuff. I don't exactly know what I'm doing for my parent costume. I'm guessing just something formal and dad-like.
Yeah.
I think like a nice polo.
Would you be wearing, like, a hat and scarf potentially, or? Because I think wasn't that one of the parents' outfits? I don't remember which one.
I think that that might be Ty and Aiden's family, because they're like, aren't
they supposed to be like the Great Value Wormwoods?
Yeah, so they're just, like, almost like high maintenance, or like
Yeah.
You got to see on his report. The teacher.
It's the
all the teacher's
problem.
fault. Yeah, the teacher is the problem. Alas. I love the fact that JD and Maddie are the cool hippie parents.
Oh, for sure.
I'm excited to see those costumes. They should just shop at Earthbound and they'll find exactly what they need. Like some nice crystals. Yeah.
Hold on. I was wondering, Matilda takes place in what, like the 80s?
I think 80s or 90s.
90s, yeah. I don't know exactly. I know obviously it's not like modern and it's before like I was going to say like I'd say like late 70s to like early 2000s was like my time frame that I was kind of
I think it's 80s. I feel like Mrs. Wormwood's costumes very much scream the 80s.
I know the costume that I got, so I'm wearing a tracksuit with my family, and my family's supposed to be like this crazy, like soccer mom, soccer dad,
yeah,
like super active, whatever family,
mm-hmm.
and mine are like specifically 80s, like track jumpsuits.
Do you know what color you got?
I think Dixon showed me a picture, and I think it's like either some weird form of like purple and blue, or a combo, or like blue and purple. To kind of just be like, hey, look how obnoxious we look.
I remember in the Broadway version, they were like a bright yellow and like blue. Something just something very
they
extra.
They look like the guy from Fallout. But yeah, I'm excited because so my family, what we have planned, well, should I say to like, or
I don't know how. Do we have a contract or something?
You signed a contract. But basically, without like giving too much away, because obviously anyone listening to this should come see the show. Unless you're in the show, then you should
not see the show.
Don't even think about seeing the show.
Get away from me.
What are you doing? Like this video, subscribe, but like do not go see the show.
Please don't be in the same room I am in.
Please.
That joke, I'm having trouble forming sentences.
You're right. But anyways, so my family, what we're basically doing is I get to have a whistle, and I am making some of my kids run drills, and some of my kids are not good at running.
You should get one
drills.
of those. You should get one of those like the ladder thingies that like the
yeah, where they stick their feet
like,
through them and then they have to like
yeah.
That I really want to do that. Because
those are super cheap. I think I might still have some from when I played football.
That's a really good idea.
I will ask. Because
I think that would be very funny to have like some of my kids, and then one of my kids is going to throw up.
Oh no.
And I think it would be so funny if like normally obviously we're going to limit touching and everything like that, but I think it would be so funny if I just like carried them off stage.
Oh my lord. You should get those like this is the 80s. This is technically won't work, but because it's in the 80s, but you know those like the green Gatorade bottles that like you squirt, like it's like
yeah,
it's, like,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
get, like little orange
excited.
Slices for your children.
I think we're joking about that, and the highlight of that costume will be not just the jumpsuits, like the tracksuits. Will be the fanny pack that I also get a rock with.
Oh, phenomenal. And
then I think a visor will also complete the ensemble.
I think I'm getting for my my trunch costume, I'm getting a belt with like a bunch of pockets. I don't want to go too far into my trunch costume, but I am beyond excited for that.
I haven't heard too much about it, but boy, will that be so fun to see.
It's oh yeah. Come see me wear a dress.
Unless you're in the show, then again, don't see the show.
Get away from me.
Yeah, but yeah, rehearsal I'd say was pretty good. First day in person.
Solid.
I'd say like B plus. You know, like we definitely could have been a little bit better at just getting things going, but it's also very hard when you're first time in. You're figuring so much out while still like not really hearing everything that's being directed towards you.
Right.
So, I don't know. We will definitely improve, and I look forward to our next rehearsal on Monday.
Very hype, very cool. Quite hype.
All right. Do you want to read the next one?
All right. Any new shows you've been watching?
Ooh. I mean, so on Disney Plus, right? They just released WandaVision, and I watched the first two episodes with Ella, and that was really really cool to see. Really, I don't know. It's like I don't know if you've seen anything on like Instagram or anything like that, but there's a lot of posts just saying the episodes are like whatever, but the last 10 minutes, like 5 minutes, that's what you were really gravitating towards because
Oh,
the
gotcha.
season's
How
just
long
kind
are
of.
episodes?
What'd you say?
How long are episodes?
I'd say like a half hour, but it's kind of like traditional television, if that makes sense. Like it's a sitcom, because the whole thing is
Yeah,
like
I
it's
saw the intro.
transitioning. Yeah, so
Interesting.
it's cool, and I'm enjoying watching it. But it's like weird when you're like, I think it's something that will be a lot more well received once the entire season is out. Because at least with a show like The Mandalorian that's also on Disney Plus, it's like the episodes are kind of like they branch off of each other, but they're a lot more like compact and like complete, but they bleed into the next one very well. This is kind of the same thing, except for like you're not sure what they're setting up, so
Right.
it just kind of leaves you with like a, well, that happened. What's
Gotcha.
yeah, like what's next week kind of look like?
What's to come kind of thing?
Yeah. Have you been watching anything recently?
A lot of anime.
Oh God.
I've been watching My Hero Academia with Masikaya Kendall, and we are getting quite far into that. It is a very good show, and I'm liking it a lot. I started Jujutsu Kaisen.
What's
I'm
that
watching
about?
the
I haven't
dub.
heard anything about that.
So I've only watched like a couple episodes, but it's like it's all about like demons and stuff, and how this kid basically consumes like this object that's just like it's hard to explain. It's just like this object that has like a demon with inside of it kind of thing, and so it almost gives him like different personalities that can switch at any moment, but he can still control it. But he has to consume more parts of it, and because that's just kind of like the plot of the show. And the more he consumes, the less he can control it, I believe.
Okay.
In the English dub, the person that voices the main character, Yuji, is Marco Diaz in Star vs. the Forces of Evil, which I find so funny.
I remember that show.
Because I love that voice actor's voice. I think he's really good, and that's kind of since I'm actually thinking about going into voice acting, that's kind of a voice I'm kind of leaning towards, because it's like an entertaining, like higher pitched voice instead of super broody and dark and you know.
I also feel like that's a
huge.
lot more natural fitting with yours. Like
Yeah.
you could very like I'm sure you could do like the darker, more brooding voices, but naturally when as soon as you said the character from Star vs. Forces of Evil, Marco, like I could picture you doing that voice or something similar in that vein immediately, as opposed to like
yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been watching lately.
I feel like I should really enjoy My Hero Academia because I watched the first like 3 or 4 episodes, and funny enough, the reason why I was interested is because it's very reminiscent of my favorite movie of all time, Sky High.
Sky High. That's true.
Because they're both superhero high schools or like schools for superheroes, and
the main character starts out as kind of like the underdog
with no powers.
with no powers. That's literally, wow, that's really funny. I never thought about it that way.
And like people poke fun at it, like, guys, Sky High walks so My Hero, and then people are like, well, the manga existed, around this time, so it's like whatever. But I don't know. It's something that I watched those episodes like a month ago or so, I would definitely be down to go ahead and continue watching.
what happened is that I started it back in like August or September or something, and then I just kind of forgot about it, and then I only picked it up again when I was studying for finals, and I was like, wait, I really like this show. And yeah, I'm super far into it now, and I'm really liking it.
You were studying by watching it because that was what your final was on, right?
Yeah. It was for my English final.
How'd you do?
Instead of Huckleberry Finn, I got a solid B on it, if you will. Very hype, very cool.
I thought you were gonna just say like I got a solid D.
I got a solid D plus. Killing the game.
I think
better luck next time.
Flawless.
But yeah.
Oh, know what TV shows? So I don't watch like most. So I was talking about like Disney Plus shows, but like I don't watch most like cable television or however you said. You know, where it's like the NBCs, ABCs, things like that.
Yeah. The NBCs and the ABCs, if you will.
I can't keep up with them.
The next generation of NBCs and the YouTubes and the
video chats.
These kids and their damn phones.
But I happened to be like, I think I was helping my dad with dinner or something, and just on the TV was this ad for, you know how there's so many game shows or like so many like shows like The Voice and things like that.
Right.
So there used to just be like The Voice, American Idol, like X Factor, and then maybe like a couple more, but I can't think of them.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's like The Masked Singer, and you're like, okay, so these people, the show is like they're disguised celebrities, and they may or may not be able to sing.
Wasn't Ninja on The Masked Singer at one point?
There's so many people that I'm like, why? Like, what is
Wendy Williams? That's my favorite clip of all time from that show. That's the only reason why I would watch the show in the first place.
I
haven't.
I don't know.
But if I were to, that would be the reason.
Why? But I saw this advertisement for a show similar to The Masked Singer, and I think it's just because The Masked Singer is like so popular.
Mm-hmm.
And the show is essentially the premise. You have judges of, I think, celebrities, and so someone will walk up and be like, "Hi, I'm so-and-so," and they don't say what their talent is or what they can do, and the judges guess what their talent is. And then I think they do the talent, but I'm like, that's such a stupid premise.
That's a really dumb
At no point am I like, I wonder what it could be. They could either water ski, do the trapeze, or blink really fast. And I'm like, if I don't like any of those options, I'm not going to watch, or even if I'm like, oh, that one sounds cool. Well, now I'm disappointed because I know they can't do that thing.
I can just imagine someone singing like some show tunes and they're like, you are really good at card magic. You know that? Like, you are such a solid magician.
Yeah, like, and especially because you're like, oh, because they essentially, if it's, say, something that's like, I don't know, less cool or, whatever, or like, oh, say they can like do the tricks where they light the stick on fire and like throw the baton up, like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then they're in like, oh, you look like you could do a whole bunch of like number calculations fast. Friggin' nerd. Like, I like, what?
I hate the premise of that. I'm not a huge fan of just like shows with like panels of judges of celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, The Voice. I'm
Blake
hate
Shelton.
the judges. And it's just like whenever they give advice to like the singers, it's always the same. It's just like, you have some really good talent. I see a future for you, so you should join my team. And they say the same thing, so it's just kind of like,
yeah,
it's just the same like algorithm over and over again, and they're on they're like 26th season or something.
It's ridiculous. And the thing that I can't stand is when they bring in like coaches, like so they'll have the teams, right?
Meghan Trainor.
And then they're just like, hey, Meghan Trainor, my name's Blake Shelton. Do you want to help coach my team? And then she'll just say stuff like, you got really like the same stuff. You got really good talent, and I just think
really good talent.
You just need to bring out that inner voice that is waiting to be heard.
You are all about that bass. You are all about that bass.
No treble.
No trouble. All about that bass.
But yeah, I'm like, and then it's like, this is my good friend. I'm like, you are not friends.
You're not.
She is just releasing an album in a month and wants people to like remember who that
Anyways,
is and do
come stream
good.
my
Like,
album. I could see them doing that as like a
yeah,
like a plug, like an advertisement.
I would love for them to just bring in someone that like has nothing, like has or like not even the same experience. Where it's like, I understand you're an operatic singer, so I wanted to bring in Post Malone. Do you want to tell him a few things? I would love that conversation, or like the actual conversations between like Post Malone, for example, or like Snoop Dogg just talking to like some 8-year-old that was on The Voice.
Hey kid, you got a lot of potential. I like you, man. You wanna smoke a joint?
All right, are we done here? Hey, yo, kid, want to come back to my trailer? I got some.
Oh my lord!
Where's that show?
I need that show now.
It's called The Inner Voice.
Wow, behind the scenes.
But yeah,
Phenomenal.
like I just can't stand those shows.
I can't either. Like one of my biggest fears, is in fact waking up, on the Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, how dare
game
you!
show.
How dare
I'm
you!
taking your joke. I'm taking your joke right now. Like I'm about to be dropped to my death, and she asks me some obscure question on like a world map or something. And I get it slightly wrong, and I'm dropped to my death instead of like, I don't know, mattresses.
No, like that. So for those of you that don't understand, that is a genuine fear that I have. I have a fear that one day I will wake up and I'm on Ellen's game of games. However, the only one playing the game is Ellen, and we are just fighting for our lives. And I think one day I'll like wake up, and probably what'll happen is like one of my friends will like sign me up and like forge my signature or something. And then I like to think that like Ellen's entire like crew will just come to my house, knock me out, and I'll just wake up inside one of these like pods that they just drop to their deaths. They're like, is India north or south? And you're like, south of what? And then they've already dropped you. And you're dead.
You're gone.
You never see them come back, which is the thing. And even if you win, you still get sent down into like, I don't know, the depths of hell.
No one wins. There's not been a single winner on that show.
The crowd is just cheering like it's a gladiatorial combat. And Ellen is
ancient
like,
Rome.
Good.
More fighters.
I need more money for my show. Beyonce's on next week.
I need more money to harass my audience members.
I genuinely just have a fear of Ellen. It's like I'm like, oh,
Ellen
Dory.
herself.
It's just Ellen as a celebrity. I'm like, there's so many people that I'm like, I feel like I'd get annoyed by having conversation with like Jimmy Fallon and like Jimmy Kimmel probably, but like Ellen would just make me so uncomfortable, and I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Which talk show host like James Corden? Who would you be the most like? I don't know. I guess who would you rather out of all of the like late night show hosts like be friends with? Because you got like Kimmel, Fallon, James Corden. Then you also have like Stephen Colbert. Ooh, Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah. I was about to say, I'm thinking Trevor Noah.
Yeah. He just seems like a genuinely cool person.
Yeah. And I think he's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So
I actually watched.
That's a lot to say. That's a lot to say because I hate late night show hosts and late night shows. Period.
Mm-hmm.
They do the funny skit, and it pleases the millennial eye.
Mm-hmm. I also think there's just something to be said about Trevor Noah's show just having like a more relaxed feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems genuinely like I'm watching a person who, yes, has a crew and like all this like the production team, right?
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't feel like that team or the network, right, is like breathing down his neck. Where
Yeah.
it's like, all right, got to do another carpool karaoke.
You gotta
James,
do
get in the
you gotta
car.
do a
I
you gotta
don't
do a
want to get
Broadway
in the
show
car.
in the street. You gotta do a Broadway show in the street this time. You're gonna do Annie. You'll be Annie. Sing tomorrow, James Corden. Sing it.
I don't want to, sir. I don't want to.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. Damn it.
It's a hard not life for us.
Do you think James Corden's always at gunpoint?
He must be. No, or is it Fallon? It's Fallon definitely that's being held.
Oh, it's definitely Fallon. Like there was that one time where I think he had RuPaul on his show, and he was like, "Oh, this is." I think they were talking about some sort of a magazine, and he was like, "Oh, this is the first time a drag queen has ever been the cover of a magazine." And RuPaul was like acting like he was literally like a drag queen, and like Jimmy Fallon, he had like the look of like death in his eyes. He was like, did I just get canceled? Am I about to lose my life? He was genuinely scared. Like it was really funny.
We're like
so it was like RuPaul literally said, a drag queen, honey, I am the queen of drag, that kind of thing, as a joke. But Jimmy, like before he said queen of drag, he was gone. He was about to pass out.
He's like, oh god, I just lost
cut the cameras. And then
Like,
he had like this sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I like to think that Jimmy's family is like in the green room, and like his wife, you just heard like a distant scream, just a single tear.
No,
Jimmy!
Oh my lord.
What were you saying though?
I don't remember. It's okay. It wasn't anything really.
Okay. Jimmy! Dad!
Does he have kids? Does Jimmy Fallon
I
have
think
children?
so, right?
Oh, he is a dad.
They'll come onto the podcast sometime.
Yeah. Actually, introducing next week's guest.
James Fallon.
James Fallon. His name's James.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought that Jimmy Fallon would be the kind of person to be like, all right, I'm gonna name my kid Jimmy Fallon Jr. because I'm awesome.
Because I want another one
hype.
of me.
I'm really cool. I want a clone. Do you think Jimmy Fallon's a clone?
Of who?
Jimmy Fallon.
Like every time. Well, I feel like the whole purpose of like if you're a celebrity and you're cloning yourself is like I get to look as young as possible or something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like he went from like on SNL being super young, and then as soon as he got like within the first like couple years of having a show, he just like looked like he aged 15 years.
He's a tired man. I don't care though. He's a senile old man.
He's probably in what, like his 40s. Just oh my god.
He has like, I don't know, eye bags and like that beard that's just kind of like stubbles, but it's like different patches. So he just has he looks aged.
What if there's a prime Jimmy? And that's why he's so nervous, because he will get replaced by another clone Jimmy.
Oh.
So locked away is just the real Jimmy Fallon.
Oh no. Just another one waiting. It's in a test tube.
Jimmy would call his kid Jim Jr.
We have cracked the case, Benji. I think we've done something here on this podcast.
I think we should probably move on.
I think we should. We've been talking about this for like 20 minutes. Okay. Do you want to introduce the next thing?
Yeah, sure. So, speaking of the funny nickname Jim Jr., have you had any, like, I don't know, any popular nicknames that you've kind of either kept with you or just, like, vaguely remember from from being a kid?
I don't have a lot of nicknames that I've kept necessarily. I had a friend, that, like, I think I was literally talking to him about how you can't really, like, it's hard to give me a nickname because, I don't know, Aiden just seems like a hard name to give. Cause it's Aiden's just kind of like a weird name to give a nickname for kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so he was just like Ado Plato, and
Oh,
he
he
thought it
got
was the
you. He
funniest
got
thing.
you.
But then he got like the Hanson twins to start saying it because that was kind of like our group in middle school, and it was an interesting time because it wasn't funny ever really, but they thought it was the funniest thing. I've got Bacon Big Boy
Is that a what is the
from
context?
Dixon.
A bacon.
I don't know.
Oh,
That is a fantastic question, Benji.
oh, bacon big boy. I thought you said bacon big boy, and I'm like, what the hell?
Isn't didn't you just repeat the same sentence?
No, I thought you said. So you said big boy. I thought you said like big boy, like.
Oh! I was like, you just said the same thing.
No, because I'm
no,
like big boy doesn't even really sound like.
Yeah, like the main one I really have right now, but it's only really with family is AJ
Yeah.
because of my middle name. But I don't know. I haven't had a ton of nicknames, I would say. What about you?
I'd say my family has given me quite a bit, kind of the same, but it's just like, so I remember ever since I was little, my mom would call me like Benji,
Mm-hmm.
and she said I came up with it all by myself, but I literally recently have found some footage of her when I was 2 years old and couldn't speak, calling me Benji, and I'm like, checkmate, mother.
Checkmate, mother.
But yeah, and then my family's just always called me Benji or Ben. Mostly it's Benji. And like my grandma, she calls me Benji Booter.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you why. She does that with all of her grandkids. Like Jackson is Giacomo Francocomo. Who knows what that means?
That's phenomenal. I love that.
She would say, Benji Booter, you're my schmooter. What is a schmooter, Grandma?
Beats me.
But she would call me that, and I was just like, okay. But my uncle, he is the best at giving nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackson and I still don't know which one's which, but he calls the two of us Disgusto and Grotto. Or Squid Face.
Oh, all right.
And yeah, so those are pretty great, pretty funny ones.
My dad, whenever when I used to play the good old sports, the good old hit the ball and run and the throw ball.
I'm familiar.
I'm well rehearsed. I'm well versed on the subject. He would give all the kids he coached a nickname. So my nickname was Slash. I don't remember how I got it. But I think it was because, I don't know, I'm fast, and he associates kids that run fast with something that sounds like it, So I was Slash. I think I might have been. I think it might have also slightly been because I loved Sonic as a kid. I had a Sonic T-shirt when I was in the second grade. It was quite hype. But yeah. So whenever like kids see him at like his old like a bunch of old kids that used to coach, like whenever he sees them at like in a grocery store or anything like that, they remember their nicknames, and he still calls them by their nicknames.
That'd be funny if he started calling you Slash like all the time.
I mean, he used to, but now I'm a drama student, so I'm referred to as AJ now.
Hey Slash, that was a good number you two guys put on.
Hey Slash, good job, and that you will be found.
I like to think you were going through an identity crisis. And he's like, now son, what do you want me to call you? And like, do not call me Slash. Call me Slash.
Please.
Papa, please.
Papa, please.
Yeah. I don't know that I ever got anything that was like cool. It was just different variations of my name.
Yeah.
That, like, it wasn't like anything like, oh, you ate like you ate like, I don't know, graham crackers, so I'm gonna call you graham crackers. Like,
There was a girl in middle school because I was a highlighter in middle school. I only wore neon colors, 6th and 7th grade. So there was this girl that would call me Neon. So very cool. I when I first started my YouTube channel, because I had one back in 6th grade, I named myself Neon McCoy.
Oh yeah.
So you can
Link
clearly
will be
tell
in the
how I formed that one.
description.
Link will be in the description. I think I deleted all my videos, or I privated them.
A shame. Guys, if
Yeah.
this video gets what do we want to say? How many likes?
A solid.
Uh-huh.
And that's how many I want.
All right,
No, I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
cut out.
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I hope we can get that many likes, guys.
Guys, if we can get like
Good luck pulling it off.
37 likes,
37. That's a solid one. 37 likes, and I will
be the change you want to see.
be the change. I don't know.
I have-
What's that change, Benji?
I don't know. Some good content. That's what I want to see.
That's like some good content.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, I can guarantee that.
I think what we should do is we should move on to the next question, which is actually a pretty fun, pretty crazy one.
Yes,
Is,
I agree.
So, I don't know. It's weird thinking to me that we met, like, not that long ago. Like, it's a bit ago, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's within the last couple years.
The Aiden and Benji lore.
The lore. So I guess this
The
next
lore.
question is just, how did we meet and how did we get here?
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
I will go. Okay, I'm not gonna start when we actually met. I'm gonna start before that because, so our moms are really good friends, and did they know each other in high school, or they should have known each other in high school?
I think they should have because they knew a lot of the same people. And
They knew like a lot of the same people. There was just like many instances where they could have met, but they just didn't for some reason.
yeah, for
So
whatever reason.
There were those connections, but like it just didn't. It just happened that they weren't able to make that sort of connection, but now they did because of us. So look at us
what
go.
we did, impacting
Um,
people's lives.
Let's go.
Some might
but-
say for the better.
Oh. Okay. So, however, the same thing happened with us, but we should have known each other probably in middle school. We didn't
For
go to
sure.
the same middle school. However, we knew a lot of the same people. And also, we're like 99% sure that we played each other in multiple basketball games. And Benji thinks that he probably guarded me at quite a few points in time. He probably guarded me.
I mean, like, it would make sense because we're like roughly the same height,
Mhm.
on the same, like, our teams definitely played against each other. So
Yeah,
I can't
without a
imagine that it's like, all right, you know, we want
Yeah.
you on like the 5'2" kid, you know.
Yeah. I don't even remember. Were there a lot of tall kids on my team?
I know I was like one of the top 3 tall kids on my team.
Yeah. And so we actually do still play basketball to this day.
Avid. Hopefully we make it to the Olympics or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going actually pro in a couple years, so
Congratulations.
yep, see me on NBA TV. Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. This bit has run its course. But yeah, there's just many instances where we definitely should have met, but we just kind of didn't.
Yeah, just like track stuff, like after school activities, and a lot of the same clubs that maybe didn't interact, but we both did. Just
Yeah.
like after school math club, things like
Right,
that.
right. Yeah. Like I had algebra club.
Yeah, that's what it was called for me. And mine was also called Math Olympiad, which was another math class.
Yeah.
God, I was a nerd. I mean, I still am, but like
I was a geek.
I should have been bullied by my mom's and my account.
Well, I was, so. Well, here we are.
Mm-hmm. So after middle school where we probably should have met and probably did, but not like actually knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
So freshman year, right? I pretty much just hung out with my middle school friends and got to talk to them more and just stuck with them, and that was pretty much it. And I didn't really talk too much to people from Wilson because I went to Coronado, a different middle school than them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of like, hey, if I talk to people, great, but I'm not going to like, I need to make another friend from a different school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Aiden did a different thing where he actually joined a club and joined the drama club in the program. So he actually got to talk to other people that weren't like the 4 or 5 friends that he had in middle school.
I wasn't that unpopular, Benji.
No, I was saying like me. Yeah. Like I had my small friend group, and you actually reached out to people.
Okay,
No.
okay.
I wasn't saying that you had 5 friends.
Yeah, you were unpopular, nerd. I should have
Don't
bullied
you
you,
forget
actually. I should have bullied you.
Guys, confession, Aiden actually did bully me. This is a script. He's forcing me to read it.
Yeah. Anyways, the drama club.
Mm-hmm.
Benji unfortunately did not join drama club freshman year.
He's lame.
Which was incredibly lame. However, we were able to talk a little bit our freshman year over Discord because I was good friends with Dallin and Jackson. And so that's how we were first able to kind of meet, which was on an old Discord server we had where we just played Overwatch a whole lot.
To be young again.
Oh, to be young again.
Take me back.
But we mainly met through Overwatch and Discord and like small Minecraft SMPs that we would randomly start and then never finish or give up on.
Or it always seemed like I would join and then get like my foundations and my bearings and like maybe find diamonds. But then whenever I was off, then everyone would defeat the Ender Dragon.
Yep.
And I just would get pissed because I'm like, I literally feel like I'm not doing anything. And then the game's over.
Yep.
Because after the Ender Dragon, everyone's like, all right, we're kind of done here.
That's just how the cookie crumbles.
That's just the way the ball bounces.
Truly.
But so after freshman year and that summer, I'd say, I think I got my PC in the winter of freshman year. So winter break in between first and second semester freshman year is when I actually started playing with you and like Dallin and getting to do that. So that was super cool and super fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, these people seem nice, but it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, these are my brother's friends. It's kind of weird.
Right.
I don't know. And then freshman year finishes, and I'm like, that year just kind of wasn't great. Like, there's just a couple little things, and again, nothing that I'm like, it still haunts me to this day. But I'm just like, had I known that the year would play out like that, I definitely would have been like, hey, this drama program seems cool.
Mm-hmm.
But so the summer starts. So freshman into sophomore year. So the summer of what would that make it? Like 2019? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So the summer of 2019 starts, and naturally we're back on that Overwatch grind, playing day and night, more Minecraft SMPs. We are playing, and it seems like, and slowly I start to, rather than just playing like that big group with like you, me, Dallin, Jackson, like Nick, Rishi.
Yeah.
I usually like, so there's like a pretty big group that we just kind of all play with. But then it just became to where like sometimes it'd just be like me, you, and like Nick, or to where it was a lot smaller.
Right.
And then slowly it just became me and you hanging out more. And I remember we had just been playing all over the summer, and then we finally got our schedules for our sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, I don't really, like, I checked with my friends in middle school that I was still pretty close with. And I was like, oh, I don't really have many classes with them. And then I was like, wait, we're both taking the same Spanish class. And that was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I was so excited when I first found out that we had the same period.
Mm. I was like, I'm really gonna have to just learn Spanish all all on my own.
All on my own.
Mm-hmm. And what might have happened just the start of that sophomore year?
What?
So at the start of the
I don't know. I don't. Hold on. You go ahead.
you were
You go
there.
ahead.
Come on. I'd
The start
say.
of this.
Okay. Do you want me to just start and then you can jump in?
Go ahead.
All right. So the start of the sophomore year. The start of the sophomore year started. At the start of the sophomore year, it was just kind of like, all right, we both have this class together. I know you, you know me. We're just gonna sit next to each other and then see how this class kind of pans out.
Mm-hmm.
And unrelated, I started to be like, huh, there's a lot of these theater kids just in my classes. Kind of strange. Whatever. And slowly, I started to become like closer friends with them. And I was like, huh, I actually get to talk to Aiden more. He seems even cooler. Yeah, and then pretty soon in my Spanish class, it became like one of my favorite classes just because it was just like, all right, that's the one class that I have with you. And I'm like, huh, this is great. What if I like, I don't know, started to eat lunch or like whatever?
Well, I don't know. What if I started coming into the black box to eat lunch with him? I don't know.
And I never did.
And then he never did. He actually never joined the drama program. I don't know why he's on this podcast. I just kind of invited him. I just heard the doo-doo.
For those of you audio listeners, I left the call.
Joke explained.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that became one of my favorite classes, and we started eating lunch together and just having the stupidest conversations, of which didn't never really made sense or were coherent. But I absolutely loved it so much. And there were so many like small inside jokes that I was like, wow, this is just like a person that I can very much be stupid and like just have conversations about whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how or why, but it just seemed like very much without really knowing you too much, there were so many things that I was like, huh, that just naturally makes sense and like fit together.
Mm-hmm.
And through like Spanish and lunch and just getting to spend more time with you, I was like, wow, this is a really cool person. I just want to be around them more.
Mm-hmm.
And the Spanish class environment, oh boy, that
it was an interesting like group of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Cause there was like your typical like there's some jocks in there and some popular kids that tried really 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 hard to be funny and just it wasn't working out for them. Like some popular girls, some girls in like the arts, and just like a weird assortment of people. But it just somehow worked. Somehow worked.
I don't know if it was just me, but it kind of got the feeling that there over the course of just like first semester, as I became like really good friends with you, it just felt like the entire class almost felt like they were watching what we were doing, because we always seemed to be like the people having the most fun.
Yeah.
So they just kind of be like, what's kind of going on over here? Yeah. And then the trick was to just get our teacher to laugh with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were just kind of chilling.
I'm pretty sure Appel loved us. Our Spanish teacher loved us because did we get scolded?
I don't think so. I don't think we were, because it was never like, hey, let's disrupt the lesson. It was just like, oh, when you said that word in Spanish, I thought you meant this. And then she would think it was funny and she would laugh with it. She asked us what was to poop in Spanish, and we couldn't think of the word.
Benji knew a rough translation, like it was I don't know what the actual word is, but he said like cacarse, which is
because it's like caca means poop,
close.
right? And I'm like, my mom had said that to me plenty of times, so I know that, and I'm like, well, we were learning about like conjugations of what the reflexive or something.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was like, wait. And then I said to myself, Kakarse, me caca. And she just looked at me and started laughing. And then I leaned over to Aiden.
I was I the one that thought of this, or did you think of this?
I don't remember who. I definitely said Kakarse, and then we both. It was like at the same time or something.
Shitarse. It's one of the best. It's one of the best words in the Spanish dictionary. It is certainly in there. Just look it up.
And then we started conjugating it.
Shitamos.
Nosotros.
And then everyone else started like joining in on it and trying to like conjugate it for themselves and stuff. It was a journey that day. We took the class relatively seriously, but we took it.
I don't know about that.
Well, okay.
The work, yes, we're like, all right, let's make sure we get this turned in and everything like that. But in terms of like the actual classroom environment, I very much was just like, hey, I'm just talking to Aiden and a couple other people in that class who I had like known before and were on like fairly good terms with. And I just found it like my role essentially was just like, how do I enjoy the most out of this class?
Right.
Like later on in second semester, we had to do these speaking exams in the computer lab.
Do you want to tell the story on this? Do you want me to?
I think it's funny from your perspective.
Okay, so during the second semester, we started to do more speaking practice, and so we would go to the computer labs, and we would each have our own computer. So Benji and I would sit next to each other, and basically what it was, we were having a conversation with a pre-recorded like recording. So we like the pre-recorded message would play, and then we would respond to it. And then they would have like new questions, and then we would respond to those. So it was kind of like a semi-coercive, like kind of like a conversation, but obviously it's going to be choppy in some ways. So we just kind of had to try our best. The first day we had to do those, no one knew what they were doing. We were learning Spanish, sure, but we didn't really ever apply it. So we were just kind of trying our best. We were stringing some like words together, hoping for some sort of a sentence.
Yeah,
to make
and
sense.
maybe like one or two lines that we had like prepared going in, but it felt like there was an hour that you had to talk, but it was maybe like 35 seconds.
Yeah. So, when it was like towards the end of the conversation, we had to. It was a conversation where this person was asking for our help, right?
Yeah,
with,
they
like,
needed
school.
directions to their class.
They need directions to their class, and they just needed help around the school because they were scared to go. It was their first day at like a brand new school or something. So I'm recording mine, and I'm not speaking Spanish at all. But I turn to Benji, and he is having a full-on brawl with this poor student who is asking for help. He's like he's telling him to shut up. He was like, "Cállate." And then what he would do is he would grab the mic, because we had these like $2 mics that would just like stand straight up. He grabbed it and started banging it against the desk, and so it sounded like he was just beating the living hell out of this poor boy. And he would add more voice lines to where he sounded like the kid getting beat up. So he was like, "Por favor, no, por favor." And so it's just this poor kid getting like just
and all
destroyed.
You heard was, cállate, gun, 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 gun,
Gum, gum.
And I don't know. I would have loved. So eventually, of course, I submitted that because that's gold, and like, why would I not?
Of course, yeah.
And we are both crying, and she's like, "All right, time's up," and both of us just started crying
because what you could hear in my recording is me kind of just like saying a word like every 5 seconds and then like laughing a bit, and then you could just hear, because my mic would pick up his audio, so you could just hear in the background, and so it was literally so funny. I I pissed my pants that day. Gonna be completely honest.
Oh, it was just so good, for literally no reason.
What was going through your mind when you were doing that?
I think two things. One, I don't know how to speak Spanish. Two, Aiden is taking this maybe a little too seriously, or at least more serious than I was. And I was like, well, part of this is like, I'm not intentionally trying to derail what's going on, but I know that he would enjoy this. So I grabbed the mic and I was like, I don't know Spanish, so gung gung gung.
And like she didn't grade harshly. It was the first time we had done that, so she was just.
I think I got a 92.
Did she actually? I thought we all just kind of got hundreds.
Oh well, then what? I got a 92 on one of them. I think it was. There might have been the first one I got 100, but I remember just being like, wow.
She's gonna listen to this and thoroughly enjoy it.
I would have loved to just like, hey, can I stay after school to see your reaction to mine?
She's just sitting at her desk with her head in her hands, just weeping.
Tears of absolute bliss and joy.
So like over quarantine, we suddenly remembered that those existed. But the class got archived, so we were trying to look back through the Google Drive to try to find it. And we found it, but we have to be at the exact same computer we were at in order to open them, because we saved them to the desktop, so that's the only way we will ever be able to access them.
And we haven't been able to like go to the library and get that done.
Well, also like there's 3 different labs. I don't remember what lab we were in, and
I
then
feel like I remember.
I hope so. I hope so. One day we will achieve.
Before
get
we
those
graduate,
audios.
that is our mission.
Honestly, even after we graduate.
We're like, yeah, I'm just dropping something. Run.
Yeah, I'm just here to paint my brick for drama.
I'm just running out. Aiden, start the car. Start the car. Start the car.
I'm the getaway driver.
But yeah, so just that Spanish class was a big reason to why we just started to hang out and talk more. And then, I don't know, it just kind of pretty soon after, so we went to New Mexico because I was like, this is a really cool person that I want to spend time with. And I was like, hey, would you like to come with me to New Mexico? Because otherwise it'll just be me, my mom, Jackson, and Jenna. And Jenna's mom. So I'm like, nothing against them, but I'm like, I don't know how much of
It'd be kind
Jackson.
of like a the parents would bond, and then Jackson and Jenna would be all lovey-dovey or whatever.
But they weren't dating.
No. Oh yeah, no, they weren't. But what?
But that would have just made it more awkward because for all purposes, like everyone kind of knew or like.
Yeah.
Like, But yeah, so it's like, I want to hang out with Aiden, and then the exchanges that our moms had were. It was something.
It was something. I think because you basically told me the day of or the day before.
I think the day before, but like what happened is that actually, so it's the day of, but we're like, hey, tomorrow we're going to New Mexico. Would you like to come? And then you asked your parents, they said yes, and then I was like, hey, actually, would you be able to go tonight?
Tonight, yeah, that's what it was.
So like, I think we were planning on leaving like a Sunday. But then we switched to Saturday because we're like, wait, we can go now.
Right. Yeah.
And then my mom, like, long story short, my mom was texting my dad about something, and she was like frustrated or whatever, and she accidentally sent that message to Aiden's mom, and Aiden's mom was like, "What?" And then my mom was like, "Oh my god, didn't mean that."
She was like she asked me about it, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know," because I hadn't really met your mom. Like I had met her through drama, but I hadn't like had any like long-term conversations or anything like that really. But yeah, the night we were driving up, we were we were playing Mario Kart on the DS. It was quite a time.
And then we were watching like just crappy. We were watching some funny movies. What else? Then while we were up there, we just kind of visited New Mexico. And let me just say, New Mexico, if you ever want to feel like you're the last person on Earth, that is the place.
That is the place. That is the place to go. It was
There it
really
is.
empty. There it is. It was really empty. Where were we again?
Las Cruces.
Las Cruces, right. There's a lot of fountains. It's quite an
Big
enjoyable
fountain guy myself. I don't know.
Oh
about
my
you,
god.
Aiden.
Oh my god. We went up to New Mexico in the first place because we were surprising a friend of ours by attending a show. Our friend
Of
Ben
Cabaret.
was in a production of Cabaret, and it was an experience.
I don't know. Calling it a production is like a little much. Don't
He
you
was the
think?
best part, and he was in the ensemble, which made me mad.
Which,
but,
if you know the show Cabaret, being in the ensemble isn't. There's certain roles that you'd rather not have.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. So yeah, he played a Nazi. We're gonna move on.
Next topic.
After the show, we were just kind of walking around, and Ben was giving us like a tour of Las Cruces, basically. And was it a kid? Did a kid dare you to run
Yes.
through?
If it was an adult, that would have been strange. But like,
Yeah. So we were by this huge fountain. It's like this grand fountain, and there was like a couple of kids like scootering nearby it.
and it was a street gang of kids on.
Yeah, it was like there was
scooters.
like 4 of them. There was quite a few of them.
And
One
some of them were all wearing I feel like they were all wearing the same basketball shorts.
Probably. So one of them went up to Benji and he dared him to run through the fountain. And so we overheard and we kind of started hyping him up, and then he did it. And I have a video of the aftermath, and he was drenched and was cold for the rest of the time there because we didn't have a towel. So he was just in this like polo shirt and like khaki shorts, but just damp,
Soaking wet. And we tried to go in some of the locations, and like I would pretty much just stand outside, and then they'd give me the okay to come in, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, of course I wasn't gonna take nothing from no kids. I'm no punk.
I ain't no punk.
So yeah, when they dared me to, naturally I had to, because I needed to feel validated in the eyes of these 10-year-olds.
That you will never meet again.
Yeah, they better hope not. They're like, dude, that dude's crazy. He ran through a fountain.
This kid's insane.
Let's roll, guys. He's too crazy. I don't even think they I think they saw me run through, and then they just took off. It wasn't like, wow, dude, that was cool.
They just kind of left. They departed.
Which is like, needless to say, I won.
Yeah, obviously.
I ain't no punk.
I ain't no punk. We also went to an apple orchard on the way down.
That's true.
It was very fun.
I don't remember much about that apple orchard. I remember we got like hot dogs or hamburgers.
Yeah, it was a hamburger and like some fries and Doritos. Did we get any apples? No, we just kind of.
I think that's because Jenna's family wanted to get apples, and we're just kind of like, we're stretching our legs. Oh wait, didn't we watch Sky High on the way?
Yeah, that was during the time we were watching Sky High on the way home.
Yeah.
That was also the Mexico trip. Oh my god, the New Mexico trip is when we originated the iconic photo of us finding 2 pairs of tiny sunglasses at a local shop.
There's so much to come out of that trip.
Yeah.
I definitely say that's like, if you had to chart it out in terms of like a rising action, that kind of stuff that they talk about in books.
Yeah.
It's like one of the pivotal moments. It's not like,
yeah.
all right, yeah, we got to the climax and everything's just downhill from here. But it's like, that's definitely something that's like, hey, important event.
Yeah. And that's how we met. Quite epic.
Wild.
And now it's all downhill from here.
Yep, we have nothing to look forward to. I've actually never spoken to Aiden since. Oh, he left. In case you guys didn't pick up on that, he just left.
For those audio listeners at home, I left the Discord call.
But yeah, I don't know, it's really crazy just thinking about like, I don't know, just the impact that you've had very quickly in my life, and I'm very fortunate to have you a part of whatever it is I do every day.
Same with you. Thank you.
But yeah, it's just like there's so many little tiny things that I'm like, wow, if you didn't say this here or do this thing here, so much would have been different.
Or if you hadn't invited me to New Mexico, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's wild. Because if I didn't, it's like, yeah, I still think we would be friends, but like that very much solidified. Like, wow, I can like, for you, it's like, I can travel. Again, stop me if I'm like overreaching. It's like but I can travel with this person's mom and brother for several days in New Mexico.
Oh, yes, my
hub
favorite
of
state.
culture.
The hub of, I don't know, just
Fountains.
a lot of people. The hub of fountains. That's what it is.
But yeah, I don't know. It's do you feel the same way of just kind of it being not strange, but just like I never really thought about it too much until it's like, wow, I've spent so much extended time with this person.
Yeah, definitely. Like we talk once a day.
And we like to keep it that way. Anything more is like,
one conversation a day. Anything more is just a bit stepping in a boundary.
Someone's a little needy.
All right. Gosh, so needy,
Always with the calls and the texts and
and the
Snapgrams.
podcasts and the
but I'd have to say, like, probably the biggest thing is just having someone to hear me out when I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but you somehow make sense of what it is I'm trying to tell you.
Dude, have you been listening to me all night? I haven't been able to form a single sentence, man. So same goes to you.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so I think overall, we've learned some valuable lessons today. If we want to start playing the outro music like this, Jackson. Not that one.
No.
This one.
This one?
Yeah,
What if we what if we just made him so overworked that we just kept saying another outro song all right, so we're gonna get a new outro song right now.
Ooh, this one's the one, right?
This one's the one.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for listening. And oh wait, we forgot to do something. We forgot to kind of say thank you. So Jackson,
yeah.
we pranked you with the outro music. That was
Dude. Oh, he's gonna be so mad. The look on his face, dude. He's gonna be so mad, dude.
So we forgot to thank you all so sincerely for 100 freaking views on the
Hell
first
yeah.
episode. That's crazy to me. Like, it's actually crazy to me that 100 people, or at least 100 times, that episode has been listened to.
Yeah.
So
It's a very cool milestone.
very, very cool. So if we could get anywhere close to that in the future with just future episodes, that would mean so much and be so great. But
Thank
yeah,
you,
now I
guys.
think that's pretty much it, right?
And now the outro music.
Hey, this is the same one from before.
All right, let's keep this bit going.
Okay.
All right, thank you for listening.